Today, we have a breakout session, Shipping Simplified, real-world strategies for cost-effective deliveries. Brian's bio says he's a dynamic executive leader. I've not verified this, but that's what his bio says. He has spent his career finding ways to help organizations get more efficient by technology. His background includes a stint as a UPS driver, which I'll be honest is one of the most interesting things in this bio I love. And today he leads an enterprise sales team at Easypost. My job, we're going to have this be interactive. We're going to have Brian come. I'm going to run out there talk show style, and you guys are going to ask questions. Think of any questions you want. And as a hint, if you would like to ask about him being a UPS driver, that's fine and on the table. Brian.
That's funny. Oh, I love it. All right. Let's see, we got a few folks here. I told everybody we really should have had someone like Jerry Rice or Dale Murphy come do this.
Got it, man. You could do it.
Let's do this. Let's if we all could save Dominic a little work with the microphone. If we could come a little closer and maybe come in a little bit. I hate to ask it of you, but I'm going to ask it of you.
There's even a front row I'd like to point out to anyone who has not noticed the front row.
There is no splash zone. You're good.
Okay. The man in the green shirt doesn't have a mic yet. You're welcome to sit in the front row. Don't feel... yes, you're following the social pressure. You're almost there, and you're there. Perfect. Oh, this is working well, Brian. That was a very good idea.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to start off real quick. This is not a gigantic content-filled presentation. This is going to be a discussion because, let's face it, the experts out there in the industry became experts by talking to you, by talking to us, and so we're gonna do a little bit of hearing from me on some things that we're seeing at Easypost as we're talking to people day in and day out, but we're also gonna learn from each other. But to start this off, so he gave the bio, but we'll let you in a little bit more about me. Anybody ever heard of that game, Two Truths and a Lie, kind of an icebreaker? Okay, so we're gonna do Two Truths and a Lie, and we're gonna see if you can guess anything about me. First, let's see. I auditioned to be Joey on Friends. Second, what's another good one? I did a professional touring stage production across the nation. And third, I'm going to retire in 5 years. All right, so let's see by show of hands who thinks, like, which one you think is the lie. Let's start with the Joey thing. Wow, none of you chose it. Dominic chose it.
I don't believe it.
Who thinks it's the national touring production across the country? Okay, we got one. Who thinks it's I'm retiring in 5 years? Well, I appreciate that. I hope that means I look younger than I am. That's awesome. No, but actually, that is the lie. I am not retiring in 5 years. So yeah, little about me. I did not plan on getting into this or sales or into logistics. I was going to be a star. And I did. I auditioned to be Joey, done a couple of national touring productions, and this is where I am. Tells you how good I was at it, right? So today we're going to talk about real-world strategies for cost-effective deliveries. And like you mentioned, I'm Brian. And if you want to catch my attention, we're all wearing headsets, so just raise your hand. Dominic has the mic here, so in the discussion, I'm going to be asking questions. I would love participation. Give me your answers. Feel free. Dominic will come over and hand you a mic. But let's get going. So, what are the biggest shipping challenges we face? Let's face it, shipping is really it's the connection between us and our customer, right? Customer satisfaction relies so much on what we do in shipping. And so it can be challenging to make sure we're keeping up. There's 4 things that we've come across pretty consistently as we talk to customers. One is consumer expectations. So I'm going to start off with my very first question. Everybody get ready. I want to hear some answers. Dominic's ready with the mic over here. What do our consumers and our customers expect of us? What do they expect of you? Let's hear some answers.
I feel like the guy with the beard has a really good thought. Yeah, you're the only one with the beard. You do? You ready?
I would say, first of all, accuracy, because I had several customers complaining not about longer lead times or things like that, but like accuracy of the information that we were giving them.
Accuracy, yeah, for sure.
About the shipping lead time. That's the main thing.
Actually, that's great.
I love it.
Accuracy is a good one. Anyone else have a thought? Roman, I happen to know Roman, so I could call him by name.
Roman.
First of all, how you doing?
How you doing? I love it.
I'm going to say that the model now is buyers just don't want to pay for shipping, and so how do you do that realistically?
Yeah, these are great.
Buyers don't want to pay for shipping.
No. I look for free shipping all the time, and I'm in
Amazon
it.
ruined us.
Right. So consumer expectations. We found that there's a couple of things that go right along with this. In fact, with your accuracy thing perfectly. So, but first of all, let's start with fast shipping. Right. Amazon changed the game. 2-day delivery, same-day delivery. It just has become an expectation, and it doesn't matter how big our company is. We're expected. It's expected of us. And then the other is, coming back to accuracy, it's the actual transparency. Knowing where their package is in every step of the process, every step of the route, right? I mean, how many of us do that with that Amazon app? I watch it. When is it getting there? Ooh, am I going to be there? Right? Following that. So these are two big things. Another question, what happens if we fail to meet the customer's expectations? Nothing? So we get away with it.
If we don't meet the customer's
If we don't meet the customer's expectations, what happens?
Yeah, that was me repeating it just to reinforce it for you.
I'll just dive right in. Reality is, if we don't meet a customer's expectations, we lose their trust. And losing a customer's trust trust is hard to get back once you've lost it, if at all. This one can be by raise of hands. How many of us have ever completely left a brand because of a bad experience?
So, a lot. I knew that. Was
I'm like, come
to
on.
it.
There's lots of hands for this
here's
one.
number one.
We've all done it. No, she doesn't have to name it. This was
you
a hands.
sure?
This was a hands up.
But this was a great opportunity.
I was going to say maybe the brand is in the room and they can work to win us back.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So consumer expectations is one of the first of these big four things that we always hear. The second is balancing shipping costs with all of the other things we need to work on. Roman mentioned free shipping. Who here offers free shipping? Okay, let me ask a question then. So let's get a mic to one of you who might be willing to answer this. Maybe we already know the answer, but why? Why do we offer it?
You feel pressure. You have to answer that.
Hey, I work for Untuckit, so we ship a lot of goods.
Oh, we love it.
But we just actually recently started to add shipping as kind of a revenue source for us. But we have had free shipping forever and ever. And I think today's consumer expects it to get paid. And I don't think you're really able to charge for shipping until you get to that magnitude of like Untuckit is today. And we waited very long to implement that. And we did a lot of A and B testing before we did it. And we realized we can probably charge a little bit for shipping for orders under $100, let's say. But as a consumer, if I go to a brand and I barely know them and they don't offer free shipping, I'm not, even if they don't open free returns, I'm not going to really shop from them. It's like a demand from the consumer unless you're a premium brand.
Right, and thank you because I love your answer because it shows the thought that went into the decision around beginning to charge for the shipping and so forth. And the reality is, every decision we make affects the bottom line, and so we want to make sure that we use tools that can help us mitigate the decisions we make, I guess is a good way to put it. So, and luckily there's a lot out there. So balancing shipping costs. Next is managing growing order volumes. We're hitting peak season, and we're gonna test Dominic's cardio here today. We're entering peak season. How many of us are expecting to see spikes in our volumes starting now? Yeah, untuck it, Will. There's going to be a few going to my house. Okay, so yeah, we're coming up on peak season. When our orders go up, the complexity of our shipping process goes up, right? If there's gaps in our shipping process right now, those peak season spikes exacerbate them, right? What are some of the things that are problematic in our shipping processes when we see spikes in volume? What are some of the things we run into?
All right, we got back to Roman here.
Well, the obvious one is the carrier delays. That's inevitable. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyone else? Or no one else has problems?
Order processing. Order processing can get harder. Every part of the shipping experience begins to feel more pressure when we're seeing those spikes, right? So it can be as simple as the order itself. It could be the printing of the labels could have issues. Just everything involved in getting a package out the door, down the road, and to the customer. So many things can happen. So we talk a lot about automation, and we'll talk a little bit more as we move through the discussion. But we're hearing a lot about it here at the event right now. Automation. I think was it Patricia Marseille from Disney talked about AI and offloading those things that we just don't want to do anymore to the AI to do. Well, automation, simply the same thing, pretty much, right? There's a lot of repetitive tasks and things that we can offload to automation that will allow us to ultimately do a better job and have a better customer experience. And then the last one is scaling businesses smoothly. How can we scale, continue to scale, and do it with minimizing the risks, minimizing the obstacles. I think about some of the things that we do today, and I realize we have a lot of processes in our organizations that we just can't simply keep relying on as we grow. We can't keep doing in the future what we're doing today and expect that the result's going to be just as good as we're growing. We've got to change things up just a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. So, how do I scale without the friction? Let's start with that last point. Shipping has got to be the most complex piece when it comes to growing a business. At least in my mind. I feel like everything else kind of comes a little bit easier. The shipping part really gets tough. So how do we do it? And there's a few pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and hit these all at once so we can see them on the screen. There's a few pieces that we always recommend when we're talking about scaling and doing it right. The first part is start small. Has anybody here, I'm going to ask this, has anybody here ever tried to do a complete overhaul of their shipping all at once? Good. I'm glad no hands went up. I have seen it happen, and it's the worst possible outcomes come from trying to do it all in one fell swoop. So start small, right? Don't try to do it all at once. Start with one or two key problems that you can focus on improving. What that allows you to do is it allows you to focus on those, get those right, and then move on to the next thing. And that gradual approach keeps things manageable and allows you to do it really the right way as you go. Let's go on to the second one here. Implement tech that can grow with you. My dad used to always say, the most permanent solution is a temporary one that works. Anybody find that to be true? The most permanent solution is a temporary one that works. I'll give you an example. Went to work years ago for a company, and when you walk in, behind the receptionist desk, there was an orange extension cord plugged in. And that orange extension cord came out of the wall, went behind the desk, went down the hall, down the hall, right down the hall, and into a small room where they had just a small sales team going. And you go in and you look, and you see that there are multiple things daisy chained off of that orange extension cord. But there were outlets all over this room. So I asked about it. What is this? Nobody knew. It had been there literally 2 years that way. And finally, I just asked a lot more questions. We got to the crux of it. 2 years earlier, there had been an electrical issue with that room. They pulled out that orange extension cord to take care of the immediate need, and they'd been using it ever since. Room had been fixed for 2 years almost, but they still were using that orange extension cord. Moral of the story on that: yes, when we look at tech, it has to address the immediate need we need to fix. But we need to be more globally thinking on it. We need to think of the big picture and look for tech that is also going to grow with us. It's going to allow us to add things as we go without having to change or overhaul what we're doing. Does it provide us an opportunity to manage multiple carriers? Does it help us in our label printing and tracking information? Does it help us to have parcel visibility and analytics? What are the things we can add in the future that we may not necessarily be diving into right now, but it'll help us later and we don't have to overhaul? Then there's automate. We're gonna use the word automate quite a bit, and we've heard it. I think pretty much every presentation has talked about automation, and it's key. So there's a company we work with. It's a wine shipping company called Winester, and automating the simple things like the label printing and so on, address verification and other things. Automating those processes for them saved them hundreds of hours annually, hundreds of hours. And what they were able to do is begin focusing on building the business further and not wasting, we're not wasting time, but we're not having to spend the time in some of the operational detail. That automation helped them a ton, and it's worked. They've become a very, very large wine shipping company. Check them out, Winester with a Y, at the W-I and then with a Y on stir. So automation. We're gonna talk a lot more about it, but let's kind of continue on down the path here. How can businesses ensure reliability? I'll give you a hint. Automation is also on this slide, but let's talk about it. Reliability is the crux of customer satisfaction. And there's few places in the business, in a business's operations where we can drop that ball harder than in shipping. So we want to stay on that reliability spectrum. How do we maintain reliability? I'm just going to throw these all up at once and we'll go through them. I've mentioned it already, multi-carrier system. Relying on a single carrier might make sense, or might feel like it makes sense, and that it's comfortable in the beginning, right? When you're a small shop getting started, single carrier, they offer you rates, and as your volume grows, they give you better rates, right? And we feel that's going to drive a great cost decision for us. Oh, I hit that mic. But the reality is, it actually opens up kind of a can of worms. And can potentially actually cost you more trying to stick with a single carrier. What happens if that carrier has delays? What happens if that carrier has service outages, right? Does the customer ever go after the carrier? No, we're on the hook. We're on the hook for the carrier's problems and we didn't do it. So a multi-carrier solution allows you flexibility. It allows you to have a good option to turn to if one of those carriers goes down. And let's be honest, not all carriers are created equal. Each has their strengths and each has their weaknesses. And one of the great things that you can do is use tools to rate them. So let's dive into leveraging rate comparison tools. I lump two things into this, not just the comparing the rates, the cost, the money, but comparing the reliability of the carrier, right? You want a tool that's going to give you both. Rating is great. Carrier reliability added to that is a superpower. And you have huge flexibility in being able to do that and use those. Has anybody ever dealt with a mistake when it came to something as simple as address verification? I see heads nodding. Are you willing to tell us, like, just kind of the headache that might have caused? Here, let's grab the microphone.
All right, coming towards you. Raise your hand.
Something as simple as that.
Go, microphone.
Right? Address verification. So you get a mistake happens in address verification. What does that do?
Well, my name is Maritza from Bobble Bar, and I run operations and customer service for our company. And one of the major issues we had 2 years ago with Shopify Plus, and like they didn't have a robust address validation system. We had multiple users shopping out with ShopPay, with old addresses or an email in the address line 1 field. And these are large holiday orders, so we were on the hook for trying to track their packages in these final mile stages with USPS, $400, $500 packages. We really couldn't do anything. We just wait for the RTS to come back to the warehouse. But at that point, we've already, we failed the customer. They didn't get their gifts on time. They were so angry. So it's really hard to assuage like the relationship and make sure that we can save it, turn it around.
Yeah.
Instead of just having like a repeat buy experience. So it's really hard to get them to come back within like that 3-month benchmark for return.
Very good. Thank you so much. Right. It came down to it. I think you nailed on it. Right. You failed the customer and you lost trust, and it takes a lot to get back. The customer relationship is a lot like a romantic relationship in that you break trust once. It's hard to build that trust back up. It's really hard. And you as the person who broke the trust really has to toe the line for a long, long time and not have any more mistakes just for them to feel they can trust you again. It's the same with our customers. It's absolutely the same with our customers. So going back to it, automating a process like that can be super helpful, but it has to be automated through the right way, right? I literally had a package delivered to the house I grew up at. Guys, I'm 50. I had a package delivered. I currently live in Utah. I had a package delivered to the house I grew up in Orangevale, California, right outside of Sacramento, literally 4 weeks ago. How the hell did that happen? Anyway, so they definitely heard from me. Okay, so this is probably my favorite one. Picking the right partners. Picking the right partners is key in being reliable, because we can only be as reliable as really think of a chain, right? The chain is only as strong as its weakest link. If you've got a partner who isn't reliable, you've got a problem. Has anybody ever experienced shipping downtime because your partner was down? See some heads nodding. Right? You have a partner go down and you're relying on them, especially if they're, really helping you with something business critical like shipping. You have issues, and it's a big impact. We'll throw this out there. Easypost has a 99.99% uptime. We've had that same uptime for 3 years running, even through peak season. And what that means for a customer is that the platform is there, it's available to you, and it works when you need it the most. And if you don't have a partner who can give you that reliability, you're with the wrong partner. And peak season will prove it out. And in fact, it does every peak season. One of my favorite things is to have peak season hit, because we end up getting many, many more customers every peak season at the end. They come to us because people have dropped the ball on them. So we want reliability. We want to use these strategies. Flexibility through multi-carrier, leveraging rate comparison tools, again, not just on cost, but also on reliability of these carriers. And then automating the processes and relying on the right partners. Oh, there we go. Now, let's talk about stolen or damaged goods, right? I think we've probably all run into that. You talk about a bad customer experience, stolen or damaged goods. Winester, actually, one of the reasons they came to us too was the ability to ensure that wine shipping, and make sure that things are getting there. It's interesting. In fact, I was talking to Roman about this yesterday. One of the things that these wine shippers really look for, and I'm going to bring up insurance because that's what we're talking about. They want to be able to add insurance to it, even though they're already doing things like requiring a signature, right? Shipping wine, it has to be a signature, and it has to be someone who's old enough to drink. But what they're insuring is against is the breakage that's happening in the process, and that was key to them. So I'm going to ask the question of you. Would love a couple of answers. What does shipping insurance do for you as a shipper? It was a quiet crowd. Is it just the headsets? Does it feel like you're listening to ocean music and ready to go to sleep?
Anyone has a question, we can run the mic to them.
Yeah. I'll throw this out. Insurance. I'll be honest. I used to think of shipping as insurance as just this optional add-on, right? But what I've learned more and more as I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of customers throughout the years here is that shipping insurance really needs to be part of our risk management strategy. Okay, because what it does for us is it does a couple of things. For us, it allows us to cover the cost of an issue, right? If it's busted or doesn't arrive and needs to be replaced or refunded, it helps us to cover that cost as part of it. But the big thing for me is that having shipping insurance adds to the trust and confidence the customer has in us in getting their package to them. It is a piece of the trust factor, and customers do look for it. They want to see that their package is insured. Some of them will opt into it, but some just want to see it's already there. Real-time tracking. What's the value of real-time tracking? Didn't have it when I was a kid. Package showed up. There it was. It was at my door after some time period, right? What's the value of real-time tracking to us as shippers specifically? You go ahead again. Dominic.
Yep. One more time.
Reduces the Wismo tickets for customer service.
Yeah.
So decreasing labor costs. Also, no additional labor costs for reshipping and packaging. So fulfillment costs also goes down. And keeping the carriers accountable.
Mm-hmm. Keeping carriers accountable. That's huge. I'm going to throw one out there that doesn't happen often. This is like a way outlier, but it's interesting. I used to work at a company that did these giant trailers. In fact, if you've ever gone to like a Walmart or a Home Depot and out in the parking lot, you see those trailers with the solar array and the big 22-foot boom with the cameras and the speakers on top. Anyway, we deliver these things all over the place for major retailers. And the shipping guys that would take it for us are shipping it on these big flatbed trucks and sometimes in containerized trucks. But we actually had one that was coming down to Vegas, literally just from Salt Lake. It stopped somewhere around Mesquite and didn't move for hours and hours. And we kept calling because we actually had this guy was a driver we used a lot. We called him specifically, and he wasn't answering. So one of our shipping people literally got in his car, drove from Salt Lake down to Mesquite, found the truck, and took him to the hospital. What the hell? He had a heart attack. That's a way outlier. But we can hold carriers accountable and we can save lives with real-time tracking. All right, let's move on. Visibility. Visibility is key. Oh man, we're cruising along pretty good. Visibility is key. Now, when I say visibility, I'm not just talking about the real-time tracking. I'm talking about analytics and analytics in real time. Before we're shipping a package, real time while we're shipping a package, and after we're shipping a package, right? Parcel visibility and analytics around the entire process. Who here is familiar with the concept of return and report? I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Return and report. It's a popular concept, especially among the military. It's basically a debrief, right? Go out on a mission, come back, you debrief with the leadership. What went well? What didn't go well? All right. If this happens again, what's the decision we're going to make? Those kinds of things. That's what analytics can do. And if we're not consistently analyzing our process, then we're leaving ourselves open to errors. We're leaving ourselves open to issues, delays, multiple things that, again, at the end of the process, affect our customer and affect their trust in us. So we're talking the ability to, just see things as they're happening, right? And making decisions like, okay, you know what, for something like this, especially because we're shipping into an area where there's more theft, we're going to require a signature. This area has more stuff happening to trucks, and so things aren't even arriving. We're going to use a different route, or we're going to use a different carrier. Like, analyze these things, consistently analyze these things. And I'm not talking once a year. I'm talking at least quarterly, potentially monthly. Keep up with those. And so having a platform that can do that for you and be able to draw that quickly is key. I was going to ask a question there, but I'm going to let that one slide. So let's look into sustainability. One of the things I've loved about this is my first time at this conference at Deliver America. I know it's the second time it's been done here in the US. I love that sustainability is one of the pillars. And it should be. Think about it. Customers want sustainability in our supply chain. They want it. Even if they themselves aren't particularly focused on sustainability, they want to see that the people they're working with are. So how do we do it? I'm going to throw these few up here. Number one, I think, is something that's fairly simple to attack. There's some complexity to it, but switching to eco-friendly packaging, right? I loved from the keynote, the who gives a crap. That was really interesting to me. But eco-friendly packaging is super important. And when I think of eco-friendly packaging, I'm not just thinking about the materials, I'm thinking about the size. When it comes to packaging, guys, size matters. Amount of material matters. Less is more. We should only be using the amount of material necessary for that shipment. I'm sure we all have shipped out a box that had a whole lot of air in it and didn't need to, right? It happens. What can we do to mitigate that? So get things that are, here's another group. Okay, I wanted to ask this question just because I thought it was funny. How many have kids? Okay, I've got 4. My oldest is 21. My youngest is 9. How many of us have had that experience of the kids on Christmas morning opening a toy, opening a package, or unwrapping a package, and then hand it to you to get open for them? Those are the worst packages, right? Especially the plastic ones. I have scars on my hands from those plastic packages. and then opening boxes that you're digging through mountains of paper to find what's in it. Let's get better about what we're using. Eco-friendly packaging, maintaining the sizes that are correct, and with correct sizes, you have the opportunity and the ability to work on number 2, optimizing our shipping routes to reduce fuel consumption. And in optimizing shipping routes, part of that is optimizing the shipment, what's going in the container, what's going on the truck. Technology can help you do both. Lean on technology to optimize those routes, and lean on technology to plan the load, to plan how the package is being packaged, and to plan how it's getting put on a pallet, and plan how it's getting put on a truck, and so forth. Minimize the error, get more into that shipment, and there's less trucks on the road, a lot more sustainability in that carbon footprint. Consider working with partners that offer carbon neutral options. Selfishly, I'm throwing this one in because I know that what we do really well is carbon neutral shipping. Okay? Easypost offers 100% carbon neutral shipping on it. So every shipment that goes through our shipping API, we cover the cost and we do it carbon neutral. So it is no cost to the shipper. We do the heavy lifting. And you want a partner who is going to help you do this, because making things carbon neutral, finding the right projects, doing and investing in the right projects, that's time consuming. It's worthy and it's worthwhile. But if you can rely on a partner that does that for you and does all the heavy lifting, your focus is building your business and then still being able to brag about the fact that your carbon footprint is low because you do carbon neutral shipping. That's what we help our customers with. So, sustainability. It can be done, it can be managed, and using a good partner can help you do it. How do we keep up with technology? There's a lot of trends. Technology is always changing. I'm about to share something that's pretty embarrassing. Tech's always changing and it can be overwhelming. I had a dream 3 nights ago, just before flying out here. My family, we're big Disney fans. So in this dream, it's my wife and I, we left the kids with grandma. We're at Disneyland in Los Angeles. And we're in the Disneyland hotel lobby, and in walks Taylor Swift. So I told you this is gonna be embarrassing. I'm a 50-year-old man, I shouldn't be dreaming about Taylor Swift. But my 9-year-old daughter is a huge, huge Swiftie. And so in this dream, my wife and I are like, hey, we have a chance to be like parents of the year. We're gonna get a picture with Taylor Swift, and we're gonna show our daughter. So we walk up to her and we ask her if we can get this picture with her, and she graciously accepts. And I pull out the phone and we're gonna do the selfie. I've got my wife and Taylor right there, and I can't find the button to flip it so we can do the selfie. And I'm trying, I'm messing with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this never happens. I'm so sorry. And I'm trying to figure it out and I just can't. And I'm getting flustered, frustrated, overwhelmed. Taylor Swift pats me on the shoulder, says, hey, I'm super sorry. I'm in a rush. I gotta go, maybe some other time, and leaves. And I'm like, that was our one chance to get a picture with this international superstar and really impress our daughter, right? She's gonna be at the age soon where I don't impress her anymore. So I want all those opportunities. A little bit later on, we're in the same lobby. She comes back and she comes right to us and she goes, hey, do you guys want to try that again? I'm like, holy cow, Taylor Swift is saying this to us. Yes. In the meantime, my wife has shown me what I did wrong. So I can do this. I know I can do it. So I pull out the phone, I go to do it, and it's not there. I woke up. And I woke up freaking out. And this was the thing that was on my mind. And we've all had these dreams that make us think stupid stuff like this. But I woke up and the thing that was on my mind is, am I that guy that is going to be so overwhelmed by technology that I just give up on it altogether? Oh, worried the heck out of me. I told my wife about it and she just looked at me and goes, man, you're stupid. So So how do we keep up with the trends? Number one, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, is making sure that the technology we're using is tech that can grow with us, right? Going back to the point of, does it help us with our immediate need, and then does it have the option to help us with future needs? Are we thinking big picture instead of having to change every 2-3 years to meet what we're trying to accomplish? Move that over. Partnerships. We're going to go back to leaning on partnerships. I have a question. Has anybody here ever gone river rafting? Oh, river rafting. Awesome. Good, good. I had the opportunity a number of years ago to take a group of boys river rafting on the Snake River. And if you've ever done that, you're on a large boat, you got a big group with you, and then you've got a guide who sits on the back of the boat and helps steer you through and is talking you through the whole experience. And we were coming down to this one turn in the river that has a nice calm area kind of on the inside, and on the outside, it is a nuts piece of whitewater. And our guide already told us, we're not going through this one. That is too dangerous. I'm not taking a bunch of inexperienced boys through it. We're gonna go to that calm piece. So we end up going right toward that whitewater. The boys are paddling as if they're trying to get over to the other side, but they're staring right at the whitewater. So obviously we're going where we're staring. And what happens is the guide notices this and he says, hey, I'm going to talk to the boys, but look where they're looking. Okay, so he gets up and he says, well, he kind of sits up, says, this is where we're going, guys. I want you to look at the smooth water. I want you to stare at it. Do not look at the white water and just paddle hard. And we had to paddle hard to get to where we were out. But we did it. And it was because we had that guide that knew what was coming, could see the mistakes we were making, and help push us to it. Our partners can do that same thing for us. They can be that guide. And then using industry resources. What are some of the resources that we tend to look to kind of keep up with the technology in logistics? What are some things? I'll let you think about it. I'm just going to throw them out. Webinars, podcasts, conferences. We come to these things to learn from each other. What's working, what's not, what's on the horizon. Use these things. Go to where you get your podcasts and do yourselves a favor. Check out Unboxing Logistics. That is a podcast we host. Lori Boyer is the host. She's amazing, does a great job. Industry experts, practitioners on it consistently. Check out the webinars that we put on and check out Unboxing Logistics. All right, we're there. They finished up. You guys are done listening to me. I do want to hear a couple of answers on this though. So Dominic, let's get the mic here.
Well, I'm ready.
What are some of the takeaways that you personally got out of this, outside of the presenter
Besides
being a little
Joey.
bit goofy?
Yeah.
What are some of the takeaways you guys got?
I mean, I got to take away you were a UPS driver.
I was. That was a college job. It got me through. These are the takeaways I hope you got then. Okay? Flexibility. You want flexibility in your shipping. Flexibility comes from technology and it comes from automation. Things like multi-carrier shipping, things like automating your label process, your tracking process, well, just anything, right? So many pieces of the process. Automation. And then finally, start small. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to take on every tech trend that comes along. Start small, but start. Thanks.
Love it. Start small, but start. There we go. Yes. Give that clap up. Good job, man.